What's happening, everybody? This is Sean with OnBeat Entertainment. Today I'm doing a tutorial for you in Logic Pro X, and I'm going to show you how to quickly chop up a sample. I'm also going to show you how to take those split up sections and spread them onto the keys of your keyboard so that you can play it however you want. And I'll show you a couple of different ways to get this accomplished. So as you can see up on the screen, I've got an audio loop here. I'm just going to play that audio loop so that you can hear what it is we're working with today. Just an 8-bar loop. Alright, so the first way that I'm going to show you is chopping it on the fly. Basically being able to chop it as you play it and listen to it. So that's going to require chopping it at the playhead. This thing is called the playhead. This means wherever this is, that's what's making sound right now. So as you hit play and this travels through your sample, it's playing whatever is right there. But you can also, I could right click right here and come down to split and click split at playhead, and it will split that right there. So now I've got two regions, right? One here, one here. Let me undo real quick. And if I do that, right click again, come down to split at playhead, you can see right here that the default is Command T to split at playhead. Now you might have changed that. You're going to want to know what that is, what that command is. It should be Command T, but if you want to just make sure, you can come over here to Logic Pro X, key commands, edit, and then come over here to search key commands and type split. You're going to come down here, split region events at playhead position, Command T. So it's set there. So whatever yours is what you're going to want to use, but mine is Command T. So basically then, as this plays, I'm gonna hold down Command the entire time, and I'm just going to be tapping T, the T key, where on my keyboard, wherever I want it to split. Okay, so as this plays, you're just going to see a whole bunch of splits happening, and that's whenever I click the T. So first, make sure that the track is selected, because if it's not selected, it won't. Even if you hit Command T, nothing will happen. So it's only gonna chop it on whatever regions that you may have selected at the time. So here we go. And they're not perfectly where I wanted them, but they're close enough. So what we can do now is go through, and I'm just going to hold down Option and scroll these in to get a little bit closer. So what we can do, if we see wherever the split is, if you hold your cursor right in the middle between the two regions, you get this little eye looking symbol, and if you click there, it enables you to roll this cut wherever you want. So I'm just going to roll it up a little bit closer. So there we go. So now we've got all these different samples. So now all I got to do is highlight all of them. I can do that, or just click the track and it selects all of them. And now I'm going to right click. I'm going to do Convert to New Sampler Track. Create zones from regions. Yes, I want to create them from regions, not from transient markers. Create one-shot zones. Basically, that is when I press the key, it plays the entire length of the sample nonstop, and I do want that. And then EXS instrument name, it's creating it. It's going to create a new EXS24 instrument track with these, and that's why it's saying EXS instrument name. I can name this whatever I want. It says it's defaulting to Omnisphere. Bounce in Place 4 right now because this wasn't. I played this in Omnisphere originally, but I can change this to whatever I want. I can change it to. So I'll just put tutorial 1 in here, and I don't need to. I could have just left it at default, but just for the sake of showing you that trigger note range, you can set the range wherever you want it to be the range on your keyboard. But I'm just going to leave this for here. It's basically telling me that it's going to start at the C1 on my keys, and it's going to go up from there. So I'm going to click OK. Now it opens up this new window. If I double click it, it shows up down here. It's just showing you where it plotted all those samples. Now each of this sample is right here. This sample is right here on this key. This next sample is here, and that's all it's doing, right? So I can get rid of this. But now when I go over to my keys, let me hit the, that's funky looking. Let's go with this one instead. I think this looks better. So you can see which key I'm playing here. And the first key is this sample. Here's this sample. And this one. Okay, so that's all that's going on here. So now I can play these however I want. But they're all kind of running into each other, right? Because I have that one shot on. So all I have to do is go here, click this track, this new track. I'm going to click EXS24 because that's the instrument that it put it on, that it put all the instruments, that it put all the samples on. And now I can just do a little quick work here to tighten that up. This level right here, if I just move this all the way up, now those keys are going to play regardless of how I could touch them real light, but it's just always going to play at the hardest level no matter how hard I hit them. This, if I change this from poly to mono, now only one is going to play at a time. So if I play one sample and then immediately play another one, it'll cut off the first one. Okay, as opposed to when it was on poly and I do that, they all play on top of each other. So mono just makes it so that there's only one playing at a time, and whichever one you most recently hit takes precedence. All right, and then you can hear some pops and clicks in there too. I could just come off the attack time here in envelope 2, which is my volume envelope, and just move this up just a little bit. That'll probably take care of it. And it did. There we go. So that's all. That's and we can keep tweaking other stuff in here we can tweak too, but that's just to get you going. And get rid of this thing for now. So that's method 1 of just chopping your sample on the fly. Now we're right back where we started from. We got this fresh, clean sample. Okay. So now what if we want Logic to do it for us? So we can use flex time. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this on, which is flex time icon. That turns flex time on for the project. Then I'm going to come down here and turn flex time on for the track. Whenever I turn it on for the project, it creates flex time on off buttons on each audio region. So I'm going to go to this audio region because this is the one we're working with. I'm going to turn it on here. And now I'm going to want to choose the algorithm, right? And if you don't know what those are, if you take a look at my tutorial on quantizing your samples, there I explain all these much better in detail. But for today, I'm just going to say, let's just select polyphonic because that one should cover us pretty much with anything here. It will definitely help you a lot if you know what all these mean. And every time I do a flex time video, I don't want to have to go through every one of these, especially for those of you who already know what these mean. So again, for now, we're just going to select polyphonic because I know that's which one I'm looking for here. Come up here and turn flex time on for the project. Now I'm going to come down here and turn it on for the track that I'm working with because whenever I turn it on for the project, it creates these flex time buttons in each audio region because I have to tell it which audio region I'm going to be flexing. I'm going to be editing. So right here, I'm going to click flex time here, and all that's going to do, which is what I want, is drop these transient markers in here. Now that the transient markers are in here, this is flex time listening and creating transients where it's hearing changes in the audio. Now it may be to your liking, it may not be. Maybe you wanted more transients or less transients, but you can, if we blow this up, you can see them better. And then now, if we listen, just take note of where all these transients are as you're seeing this playhead move through the sample. And all these, remember, all these are where it's about to make a chop, because what we're going to do is I'm going to end up right-clicking here and clicking slice at transient markers. So you're going to want to make sure that these are where you want all these to be. So as you can see, it didn't plop any transient markers in here for whatever reason. So this is all going to be one big sample here. So what we can do, if that's not exactly good enough for us, we can double click, and I just made it disappear. We can double click. Whoops. Ugh. There we go. And now we get it popping up down here in the editor. Okay. And we see all these, we see the transient markers a lot better down here because it's against a black and white background. And what we can do is I can make this smaller so I can see the entire region better. Go back to the beginning. There. Okay. There we go. Now I can see everything. All right. So now, what if I don't feel like Logic put enough transients here. So what I can do is, see this right here, transient editing mode. If I turn this off, they all go away. If I turn it back, they all come back. And now I can make less transients, or I can make more transients. If I feel like it had too many transients, I could come back off it and say, hey, get rid, and it's going to get rid of the secondary ones, if you will, first, the ones that aren't the most prevalent. And it's just going to thin them out a little bit. But that's not what our problem was. We wanted more, right? We thought that there should be one in here somewhere, and I don't know about the rest of these, but here definitely. Yeah, right here, and maybe even right here, there should have been one. So if that's what we wanted, we can always just come in here and hit Command and left click, and boom, here's now another transient that it added. And I can come in here, right over to here, Command and click, and here's another transient. So that's how you add or thin. You can either thin out the number of transients or add some. And if you don't want some, you can thin it out, or I can just come over here and change this to an eraser tool, drag my eraser across all the ones I don't want, and they just disappear. You undo that, or just individually click them and they undo and they get rid of them. So let's see that now in play. Okay, sounds about right. Okay, so so now that we've got all the transients set where we want them, I can just come up here, right click, and slice at transient markers. Now we've got all these samples wherever the transients were. So now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this so it selects all of the samples that I just created. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do convert to new sampler track. Same thing, regions, yes. Create one-shot zones, yes. Rename it if you want. It's going to start at C1 and work its way up, so just OK. I'm going to get rid of this because this is just telling me again where they're all set. Delete. I just clicked on that and hit delete. And now, let me pull up my keyboard again. Command K. All right. And now, and let me make this, first of all, let me go down here and do the same thing. Make this so that it plays always at the loudest. I'll get rid of that little click at the beginning and just the mono, and then we should be a lot better off. So now I've got this. So as you can see, it just makes it a lot more versatile. So now you can chop it up a little bit, no pun intended, and play it however you want to play it. Now, if you would, please click the thumbs up button for me below. In addition, I'd certainly appreciate all your support, and all you have to do for that is hit the red subscribe below. That's it. Also, please leave a comment. I do read all of them. Whether it be a follow-up question, maybe a different way that you do things, something that you just want to add, whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. You can follow me on places like Twitter and Instagram. I am at onnseanbeats, and all my social media links are in the description below, so hopefully I'll see you there too. As always, thanks for watching.